3, 2, 1.
Was that in sync?
No. 3, 2, 1.
No.
Oh, that was even worse. 3, 2, 1. Ace.
Nace?
Nace. Nace. One. Nace.
Great, it's going well.
Brilliant. Never mind. Well, welcome back to Gals in the Pit
Wall.
Woohoo!
Podcast 7.
Podcast 7. Dutch GP edition.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
It's good to be back.
It is. I'm Jasmine.
I'm Catherine, and this is Gals in the Pit Wall.
Gals in the Pit Wall. Here we go.
Ready.
Very excited because it was a jam-packed weekend this weekend.
It really was. It came back with an absolute punch.
Yeah. Everything went on.
Yeah. Everything that could have happened, really.
Yeah.
We should probably start with the fact, going back to last week, that Haas have re-signed
Yeah.
K-Mag and Nico for
They have.
one more year.
So 2 of our seats have been filled.
Good stuff.
Yep. We're pretty happy about that, to be honest.
Yeah,
We like
I
them
am
as a
glad.
pairing.
I'm glad to see them back.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Kevin on LinkedIn.
So you too.
And so when he posted about it, I think I said something like, really lovely Kevin. Congratulations.
So good.
It was very mum on Facebook of me.
I love it though.
But I
That's
was
how you
like,
should be on LinkedIn.
just gotta let Kevin know.
Brilliant.
Maybe we'll get him on the podcast.
Exactly.
I mean, it keeps giving me notifications to message him, and I'm like, I can't. What do you mean message Kevin?
Like, who runs Kevin's LinkedIn? Is it him or is it someone else?
Don't know, but do you know who is really active on LinkedIn is Daniel Ricciardo.
No way.
That's probably his main form of social media, and I'm
But
not
I
joking.
suppose because he has his wine business and his clothing brand too, then he kind of needs that avenue.
So my next goal on LinkedIn is to get Daniel Ricciardo.
Yes. Next big
step up.
fish.
Yep. And the other thing was, and I need my phone. So last week we talked about, or you explained the regulation changes to us.
Yes.
But we were a bit stumped on some of it. And we've had someone get in touch.
We have
A listener.
a listener.
Or to be less formal, George, who I went to school with.
Yes, thanks George for getting in touch. We needed that.
So he came up with some reasons for shortening the wheelbase. So he said it would mean more overtakes on tight circuits like Monaco, because cars won't be as big.
Yep.
And they should weigh less, and there'll be less downforce. So it might be slower in the corners. Obviously, that would balance out
Yeah.
the extra speed that they're going to have. He said he's not sure, but that's what he had thought of. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, my friend Kyle was speaking to me about it as well. He was saying the same kind of thing. He said it's going to make the cars smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, that ties into Zandvoort actually, because the pit lane is so small
Yep.
that they could do with some skinnier cars.
Absolutely. So we have some answers at least. So we appreciate people getting in touch and letting us
Yes,
know.
we do. Thanks so much for
helping
messaging.
us out. Oh yeah, Zandvoort.
Here
I
we
think
go.
this has actually been, and I'll say this, it's been my favourite race so far.
It's had the most action
It was
throughout all of the practices,
Yeah.
quali, the race,
it was
everything.
chaotic, but in the best way. It wasn't Australia chaotic, where it all sort of happened in the last
Yeah,
bit of the race, and it all went horrendously wrong. No,
It
this
did.
was great.
it was good. A lot of good racing today.
Also shout out to the people who were there watching in the rain, and the marshals didn't stop dancing.
The marshals have the best vibe.
They were all like, everyone there was so happy.
Everyone.
I want to work.
They
there.
had their ponchos on.
Techno tunes.
Yeah.
Great.
Nah, they looked like they were having a blast.
Yeah. Oh, the Max Verstappen minions were out.
Yeah.
There's this one TikTok, and it's from last year at Zandvoort, and someone put it to the Minions song.
Nice.
It's all the Dutch fans in their orange jumping up and down, and
Yeah.
it really tickled me.
Do we start at FP1?
Yeah. Although I just want to say, in amongst, so Ferrari had a shocking weekend.
Terrible.
But before we get into like FP1, I just wanted to point out Charles has an ear infection.
Had. Yes.
So Charleg drove all the way from Monaco
14 hours, I think they
Yep.
said.
to Zandvoort. Was it worth it? No.
No.
Maybe he should have just stayed
Yeah.
in Monaco.
Yeah.
He could have done with just missing this weekend, I think.
Honestly. I know, because they didn't want the altitude of the plane to mess up his ears.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
And Lance also had an ear infection.
But then what I don't understand is if you're getting in a car with that much G-force, surely that's going to do worse
This is
than a
what
plane.
I thought about. You can't Because you can't fly, but you're okay to get in that car.
Yeah, I don't get it personally, but you know
well.
what? Pop off.
He lived.
He
I'm sure
did.
his eardrums are intact.
We can only hope.
Maybe that's what went
Is that
wrong
what
from this
Lance's
weekend.
bandage was on his face
Yeah,
this week?
his
For an
ear
ear
infec-
infection.
yeah.
He had a bandage on his face because of an ear infection.
Yes, I believe so.
That's so dramatic. I'm not
He's a
even going to
dramatic boy.
sugarcoat that. That's so dramatic. Never mind. I thought he'd hurt his jaw or something.
No, ear infection.
Never mind.
They're falling apart after the summer break.
Honestly, a bit too much fun, I think.
Can't keep it together. But yeah, FP1.
Yeah.
Just a couple of things.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things because I actually managed to watch the full race weekend this weekend, which is very exciting for me.
That's exciting.
Well, I think my first main point from FP1 was Robert Schwartzman driving. Is it Schwartzman or Schwartz?
Schwartzman.
Yeah, I thought it was. I just got so much anxiety there. So he was driving for Carlos in the Ferrari for FP1. He didn't do badly.
No, the Ferrari was having some issues overall this weekend, but at the start he was putting in similar times to Charles.
Yeah, he was. He was doing a good job for the testing that he needed to do. So
yeah,
I'm happy for him getting his little go in it.
And it wasn't an easy shift, so
no, and this is one of the most demanding tracks. So
yeah, a good bit of experience for him.
sure.
And then the only other thing I had was so obviously Haas have re-signed their 2 drivers.
Yeah.
They didn't exactly have the best time this weekend.
They have not.
FP1, Nico spun out and caused a red flag.
Had massive front wing damage.
Yeah, and Gunther is saying on the broadcast that they literally only had one other front wing for this weekend.
Yeah.
So it was like, do we put it on now already and risk that one getting damaged, or do we just continue with the damaged one and hope for the best?
I know, because Haas are on a massively reduced budget this year.
Yeah, they're suffering a bit, so that was a bit dramatic. But there was a few people off, like Max,
Max
and
was
Fernando was
making some
off too
mistake.
as well.
Yeah.
Charles couldn't stay on the track the entire weekend really.
He's
So
been a bit of an idiot this weekend.
and then FP2 is where it all really kicked off.
Yes.
So Oscar went off the track.
He did. He had a little spin and ended up in the wall.
Yeah, at the, how'd you say it?
Oh, they've been saying it the whole weekend too. And I forgot.
The Hugenholtz.
Yeah.
Hugenholtz. You know the one I mean, that corner. The one with the bank on it. The
Yeah.
one that's like kind of not really a corner, it's just one long bank.
just a long bank.
So Oscar went off and went into the barrier. And unfortunately, Daniel was coming around at that point, and for him it was either go into Oscar or launch the car into the barrier, which obviously he took the second option.
But when he did that, he didn't let go of the wheel when he hit the wall, which was a very rookie mistake on his part. So
Yeah.
this is in part his own fault. He was holding the wheel, and obviously when he hit the wall, the impact jolted the wheel round and it crunched his left hand beside the car.
So broken metacarpal for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've kind of said that his aim's to be back for Singapore.
I think it'll be Japan because Singapore's too demanding of a track.
Yeah. But he has got Lance Stroll's surgeon, so...
He has, so it could be a miracle recovery. He could be back next week, for all we know.
He had his surgery today, he was smiling away afterwards.
Yeah, he's
posted
put
on
a wee
Instagram.
post up saying that he's all fine and well now.
So wishing the best for
Best
Mr.
for Danny
Ricciardo.
Rick.
Bless him.
I'm gutted for him, I really am. He only just got back and now he's having to take some time out again.
But redeeming that was the fact that we got to see Liam Lawson.
We did. We got
In
to see
Formula
Liam
1.
Lawson.
And that was exciting.
It was, and I'm happy for him. He had a good debut, but
Yeah,
we'll get on to that.
I've got a whole list of things about Liam. Because he was mighty this weekend.
He did put in a good shift.
And K-Mac had a massive slip in FP3.
Oh, you're on FP3.
Oh, you got more from FP2?
Yeah,
Oh God.
yeah. I had about Lando.
Oh yeah.
His times were better than Max for basically
Yeah.
the whole of free practice.
It was looking so optimistic for both McLarens this
It really
weekend.
was.
And I genuinely thought this weekend could have Lando and Paul, but also this weekend we could see someone else winning.
Yeah, I did.
I
I
felt
thought there
in
was
my
going to be
bones.
some more challenging than there was.
And there was a bit.
Well, yeah, there was, but like I thought the McLarens were going to be the ones to do that.
Yeah, so, it was looking promising for a little bit.
And Carlos was in the gravel quite a few times in FP2.
Yeah.
The Ferraris had an absolute mare of a weekend.
And it was that turn 1 that was really getting everyone.
Oh my god, everyone.
Everyone was up on that escape road at some point.
Yeah.
Especially Charles. There's so many memes about
Oh my god.
what the normal track looks like and the track for Charles.
Yeah, well it was like he was driving a completely different circuit to the rest of them.
Like the Ferraris just couldn't find any grip at that first turn.
Yeah.
So they were just going straight on.
Yeah.
So I already knew from that point, I think I texted you, I'm like, I think we're just going to have to accept that this is not a good weekend for Ferrari.
We had to pick another team to support this weekend.
I'm normally really optimistic, like stupidly optimistic, because that's the best way to live life.
It is.
But I just knew, I was like, no.
It wasn't the one for us.
Let's not get too excited this weekend.
No. I'm retiring this top.
For those who are just listening, Jazz is in a Ferrari top.
Got my Carlos top on.
I'm not even representing a team. I was wearing my McLaren shirt earlier, but I've retired it now just for a jumper. I've gone neutral.
Quite right. I think I'm going to have to do the same.
Do you want to become a Pierre Gasly fan? I'm switching it up. I can't cope anymore.
We didn't see this coming.
And I literally have a note that's just got a star next to it. There was just, Ferrari were struggling all the practices. They had issues with the rear of the car. Charles took a new gearbox, but that was part of his allocation, so we were all good. But they were just from the get-go having mega issues this time. And
he had a massive shunt in the wall, right, where like the whole the whole left side of his car, like all the suspension was gone on the wheels because he just buggered it in the wall.
And he very minorly tapped the back too, but imagine that gearbox was gone. So
absolute last thing they needed.
Really had us on edge this weekend.
Yeah.
And then all I've got is my next whole bit is about Liam Lawson. A wee summary of his weekend. Unless you've got anything else first.
I don't have anything else for FP2. I do have some stuff for FP3 though.
Okay.
Obviously FP3 was extremely wet.
Yeah, just a touch.
I did actually feel really bad for Liam Lawson going in for FP3 and it being soaking for the first time he was doing the track in the F1 car. Max had another spin in FP3. He hit the white lines that are along the banking of the turn that was catching everybody today. And he had a little moment.
Yeah, I also had that Liam, he had a bit of a moment. So he had a bit of understeer. And then he tapped the curb and he spun out. But he managed to save the car. And he actually got it back into the pits.
Yeah.
And back into the garage.
Which was quite
So that was
done.
impressive, especially considering how many drivers went off during that practice particularly.
For sure.
So that was the first sign of...
I think I actually have a note of everyone that went off.
A first sign of promise from Liam for this weekend.
K-Mag, he spun. Both Ferraris went off and almost hit the wall up at the first corner. Pierre also went off at the first corner and almost hit the wall. Joe was beached in the gravel.
Yeah.
Ocon tapped the wall as well, and then obviously Liam Lawson too.
And Joe was really one to watch this weekend in terms of...
He was flying this weekend.
There's also a little bit of drama. Rumour has it that Joe doesn't have enough funding to stay in Formula One.
But then there's also so many rumours that are saying that he has already signed.
So we don't actually know whether he is staying or not staying or what's going on.
And I think the funding thing is his sponsors, right? Because Alfa Romeo aren't happy with how much money his sponsors are putting into the team.
Yeah. So he really needed to put on a good show this weekend. And he did.
He did for the most
part.
Yeah.
Bless him.
Bless.
But yeah, is that everything from practice?
Yeah, that was my FP3 rundown.
So I've, rather than talk about Liam in each kind of part of this weekend, I've just summarised it in one big Liam section.
Okay.
So Liam has won on debut in 8 different categories. I thought that was worth mentioning.
Definitely.
And also, he's never driven the AlphaTauri before FP3. Like, he's never been behind the wheel of that car.
Either,
So that was a big deal. So he had his little moment in FP3, but he was fine. It was a really impressive save.
Very.
Qualified P20. But
it was a pure qualifying, but that was kind of to be expected because it's his first time in a Formula 1 car.
And he finished the race in P13.
He did. That's very impressive.
With a 10-second penalty. He would have actually been a little bit further up without that penalty.
But then we do also have to take into account the 4 DNFs.
Yeah.
Or retirements.
But if you compare that to Yuki, who is P16... Which I would say wasn't entirely Yuki's fault.
No, Yuki got shafted at the end because he's actually my driver of the day.
he was on my list. I had a short list this week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He was on my list, and then AlphaTauri messed up his race, but we can get to that as well.
Yeah.
Because I have that written further on. He did get his 10-second penalty for... I first thought it was for speeding in the pit lane, but it wasn't. It was for impeding in the pit lane, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, why has he got a 10-second for speeding in the
Yeah,
pit lane?
because I thought that was quite severe when it came through.
But no,
it was the same
he
thing.
impeded. I don't know who he impeded, but...
Never mind.
So still an incredible result.
Mm-hmm.
And a fun wee stat, which might make you chuckle, is this season, AlphaTauri has had more drivers than it has points.
That's so sad.
Just a bit. I was looking at the
goodness.
championship table this afternoon, and down the bottom you've got Liam, Nick, Daniel. It's like, oh, bless them.
Goodness.
Oh, no. For AlphaTauri.
It's not good for them, is it? Oh, bless. Never mind. Next year's looking to be a better year for the AlphaTauri boys, so they can just hold out their hope for that.
I know. But if Liam... It'd be interesting now to see Liam in Monza as well and see how he does
Yeah,
there.
for sure.
Hopefully a little bit of an easier race in
I think
terms of conditions.
Yeah, I think it should be fine. I'm so sad to not be seeing Danny Rick in Monza. It's like his track.
Yeah, and he literally came back. He had 2 races. He did have one good race and one bad race.
I'm so gutted for him.
That is some tragic luck.
So bad.
Yeah, but...
Never mind. We live and we learn.
Yeah.
And it was in part his own fault, so we can't feel too bad.
Yeah, bit of a disaster.
Mm-hmm. So I wanted to say before we go on to properly about the race weekend that the rule change for the weekend with the tyre allocation was just written in for this weekend. So usually in a wet race you would have to go out in full wet tyres, but they have changed it so you can go out in intermediates instead because they don't want all the traffic in the pit lane like there was in Spa, because that was carnage.
It was crazy.
Absolute madness in the pit lane. So they changed it so you could go out in intermediates or wets, just whatever the drivers and teams thought was best, to reduce pit lane traffic.
And it worked out quite well.
It did, I think.
Because it was still crazy, but it was organised crazy a little bit.
Exactly.
So good
They weren't
move.
running people over, which was good.
Important. So this week, I thought it was only fair that we dedicate an entire section to everything that went wrong with Ferrari.
Oh, and it's countless.
Because I thought it was such a long list that it really deserved its own section. So we'll call this the Ferrari Shambles section.
Yep.
So, as we said, slow in the practice. They were slow in quali.
Oh boy,
and they were slow in the race.
And I'm sorry, but what was Charles Leclerc doing in Q1? Because this man could not keep it on the track.
I was so sure that he was going to go out in Q1 that I was like, if he goes out, I'm going to have to lie on the ground. I'm actually going to have to... I won't cope with this. I'm going to have to lie on the ground and decompress.
Yeah.
Because I can't...
Yeah.
I can't do this.
Yeah.
I was so excited for this weekend, and he's ruined it. And I stopped cheering for him in the race because I was like, no. See, when Liam overtook him for that brief second, I was like, go on, Liam! It was... I mean, we'll talk about it. It was partly his fault and partly Ferrari's fault this weekend.
Do you see that in my Q2 notes?
Yeah. Ferrari.
Yeah.
It says Ferrari shite.
Yes.
That's all it says.
Yep. That's all I had to say about it, really.
And then Charles just went off the track several times. Bit of a nightmare.
Oh my god, terrible for him.
And then qualifying in Q1, Carlos was coming out the pit, and Ferrari, just didn't inform him that Oscar was coming round at that exact moment. So he forced Oscar off the track, and as a result of that, it was a €5,000 fine. Not too heavy.
5,000?
Yeah.
I didn't realise how big the...
So originally I saw people saying it was €100. But when I checked this earlier, when I was doing my last bit of research for the podcast, it's €5,000 fine for Carlos and Ferrari. So at least it wasn't a race penalty, but
Yeah, that's true. Or points on his licence, because that would have gone the complete other way.
I feel like that was, it's still not too bad.
No.
It got away lightly.
Yeah.
So that was okay. And, I mean, they managed to qualify. Carlos was P6.
The thing
and
is,
Charles
though,
P9, only because Logan also crashed in Q3.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he was saved by
bless.
that a little bit. Not that it made absolutely any difference today.
But Carlos, and I will defend him, not just because he's my favourite, but because he did extract the most that car had to give this weekend. He really pushed it. He did as much as he could. That last 3 laps of the race, him defending Hamilton was unbelievable.
Because the Mercedes had incredible pace this weekend, and Ferrari just didn't at all.
No, but Carlos' defending skills, he was rivaling Checo there.
And then so it kind of went wrong in the race. Charles got some front wing damage pretty quick.
Yeah, so that was the first bit of damage in an instant with Oscar.
And then it started raining in lap 1, and lap 2 everyone starts to pit, and Charles pits. And so this we'll go with what we saw first, and then I'll add in the context afterwards. So from the TV broadcast point of view, Charles comes into the pit lane.
No tyres.
Pit crew stood there, no tyres, they're scrambling out. Takes ages. And we're like, oh my God, what's happened? So it turns out Charles was the one to make the call to box, which rightly so.
Yeah.
But obviously pit crew weren't ready for that. And by the time Charles had said he was boxing, he was already coming into the pit lane.
Yeah. But the thing is, half the pit crew guys were stood there stationary. They could have been getting those tyres.
Ferrari should have already been gearing up to do that. They would have seen everyone else around them gearing up to do that.
They would have seen the rain.
Yeah.
They would have seen the rain.
It was a torrential downpour.
Pick up the tyres. Be ready.
In Charles's interview after the race, he said, well, this was actually during the red flag, he said that he knew that they wouldn't be ready, but he also knew that the time they would have lost if he had stayed out would have been more than the time that they lost from pit crew not being ready.
Yeah, which was smart.
Once again, the Ferrari drivers being their own strategists at this point. So that was a shambles.
Obviously.
And then Charles then sustained some floor damage later on in the race.
Massive floor damage. Yes.
So that was that.
He was out.
I was actually so relieved for them to retire him. I was like,
so
thank
was
God.
I was glad that they just took him in, because I was like, come on now, this can't go on any longer.
Because they had to swap them round at one point.
I'm glad that they did that.
Because Carlos on the radio, like, he needs to let me in front of him.
Yeah, he was like, please don't slow me down.
And I was really worried that Ferrari were not going to let
I'm
Carlos
glad
pass.
they did. I'm glad they
did.
did.
So thank God for that. Carlos had a better weekend.
The one smart move that Ferrari made.
And actually, Carlos was a highlight of this race. Both his attacking and his defending this weekend.
Oh my God, he's been unreal this weekend.
He was like half the entertainment.
Yeah,
for most
honestly.
of that whole middle part of the race. Mm-hmm. Carlos.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really impressive.
He was really, really good. Like, I still can't get over the defending of Hamilton. Like, it was insane. Because Hamilton had
Lando.
Yeah, Hamilton had Lando attacking him. So he was attacking Carlos to try and stop Lando attacking him. But Carlos was defending like his life depended on it.
Had me on the edge of my seat though.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Expecting a crash at any moment.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, literally under my section that I've titled race, the first thing I've just written is madness. It was madness. That's all you can say about it.
Yes. Well, the first note that I have in my race section is Logie Sarge in the wall.
Yeah.
Because I think I blacked out for the start of the race because it was so chaotic. I didn't have any notes because I was so focused on what was going on.
Yeah, I have this whole little Logan section. And I think we should say he actually did an incredible job until he crashed this weekend. Because
he did well in qualifying.
He made it to Q3.
Yeah, it was his first time in Q3.
And he actually knocked Lewis out.
He did.
And stopped him getting to Q3, so that was a big deal. And that was the first top 10 start by an American since Michael Andretti in 1993.
Very good for Logan.
So I was so excited for him. I was so excited.
But on the flip side, after he crashed, he did sit and sulk.
For the entire race?
Yeah, in a little shelter for the entire race, and he refused to talk to any media or his team.
Also, well, it really started horrendously before he even crashed because he got lapped in lap 7.
Yeah.
So what went wrong?
But the thing is, like, this is a consistent thing for Logan. He doesn't show in the race.
And, like, I really want to see Logan do well, but I think when you see how much Alex is getting out of the Williams, because the Williams is quick. It is quick.
It is.
And Alex is getting the most out of that. I mean, Alex was one of the people that was being suggested for pole this weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of how quick he'd been going.
And he almost had it too.
Yeah, he was so close. And I don't know if we're going to see Logan after this season.
I don't think so. I think that he'll get dropped after this year.
I think he's not signed a contract yet, as far as we're aware, and I don't see him signing anyone soon.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I really want to see him do well this time, because there's so much promise there for Williams.
There was, and do you know what? He showed it in qualifying.
Yeah.
He just tanked it in the race.
So I don't know if Williams, when they have someone like Alex, I don't know if they'll want to gamble and have Logan for another year.
They can't cope with another Latifi level crisis, though. They just can't.
I know you're obviously, as we said last week, rooting for it to be young Mick.
Get Mick Schumacher in the car.
Do you
get Mick Schumacher in the car?
Do you believe that Mick would have done better this weekend than Logie Sarge?
Do you know what? I can't hand on heart say that, because Mick is also notoriously something of a ballerina on the racetrack.
That's such a good way of putting it. He likes a wee spin, a wee pirouette.
He just likes a little turn, right? But I don't know. I can't hand on heart say that Mick would have done a better job. Actually, maybe I can, because he had the experience on Logan.
Yeah.
So he has the knowledge of the track more than Logan does. But
and Mick had a good start in Zandvoort last year.
Exactly.
Albeit the conditions were a little bit different. But...
yeah, and it's a different car.
Yeah.
So I think that Mick probably would have done better, but I can't for sure say, because Mick does love a little dance.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think Williams need to do some real thinking about what their move is for.
I think, they need to get their priorities in line.
And
especially if they lose Alex.
Yeah, before I said, well, this is a whole thing. Before I said that I would like to see Logan have another season, but now I'm like, oh, maybe your chance is kind of gone here, because actually you had such a huge chance to do well this weekend and you've not done it.
Yeah.
And then you sulked.
Yeah.
You weren't a good sportsman about it either.
No, he wasn't, because he didn't speak to anybody, not even his team.
You could have just gone, like Lewis did after the race. It was a hard race.
Yeah.
But you know what? Next weekend, or next race weekend, we'll come back stronger.
Again. Yeah.
But he sulked. And I get that it's heartbreaking, but at the same time, you're not doing yourself any favours by doing it. But in terms of Alex leaving, I think 5 teams have approached him, allegedly.
Yeah.
And I know that Red Bull are definitely in there.
For sure they have
Christian Horner was singing his praise for Alex this weekend.
Yeah.
But if Williams carry on the way that they're going, why would Alex leave?
Yeah.
Because he's doing so well in that car.
I know.
And Williams aren't going to get rid of him. Where else would he go that he'd have such a secure seat?
That's true.
It's a good car, and he's doing well, and he'll create an amazing legacy there.
I think so.
As being one of their best drivers in recent history.
That's true.
So I think at the moment, I don't see why he would ever consider leaving, really, unless someone was going to pay him a lot more.
Yeah.
And that tempted him. But no, I think he's in a good spot. I'd like to see him stay for the time being with Williams.
But then at the same time, I think that Alex is one to think of the whole team as well.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't have a good teammate, there's no chance of Williams being a constructors contender, or for a teammate that will help him during the race with slipstreams or any progress. So I think that he isn't being helped by who they're pairing him with.
I wonder if they're consulting Alex on who would you like to be paired with?
And I'm sure he'll say Mick Schumacher.
Okay. Okay. You say that.
I will. I'm manifesting it.
I do like that Max started with the 3 2019 rookies behind him this weekend.
Yeah, it was
Williams'
good.
post that they did on their Instagram of that photo of George, Lando, and
the caption.
Alex. Yeah, the caption. What Max is seeing in his rearview mirror.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Yeah.
The grid for the start of the race had so much potential for excitement.
Yeah.
And it really did. And
it was exciting at the start.
And it just didn't work out for any of them.
No, it didn't work out, but it was exciting.
An important thing to say is that George, who started P3, in the sort of kerfuffle at the start that we can talk about, ended up in P16 after that kerfuffle.
I thought he retired. Am I wrong?
No, he retired. Well, no, this is a whole thing, right? But at the start of the race, he dropped from P3 to P16. In the whole madness that occurred. I guess we should probably say what kind of happened at the start of the race.
I'll let you take this one.
So, no rain when the race was starting.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly no sign of rain because everyone was starting on slicks. Everyone started on softs except Lewis. He was on mediums.
Yes.
which was interesting because in the practice, everyone had kind of reported that mediums were the worst tyre.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting Mercedes decision.
Very.
But I guess they wanted to see how it was going to do. And as soon as the race started, the heavens opened and the rain came pouring down.
Absolutely shocking it.
So first to box was Checo. Mm-hmm. He came flying in. And then Charles, Pierre and Zhou came after him. And then someone else, because 5 cars pitted in the first 2 laps.
Okay.
Or it's either 5 or 6. And then after that, everyone kind of came in.
Yeah.
So we had by lap 4, and I have this written down because I thought this was hilarious. Oh my god, why have I written this? Yeah, lap 4, the top 3 was Checo, Zhou, and Pierre.
I was screaming for Zhou Guanyu.
So
I
was
have never been so happy for that man in my life.
I can genuinely say I've never given a damn about where Zhou ends up in the race, to be honest with you.
I do. I love that guy.
Oh, well, I've never been, asked. I have other people that I pay attention to more.
Yeah.
But I was like, my throat hurts now from the amount of shouting I did for different people during this race.
Honestly.
But I was like, oh my god, Zhou on the podium. Like,
right.
I was like, this will be amazing.
I was so gearing up to cry about it. I really was.
And then, oh god, just everything that could have happened did happen.
I know. He did. He got shafted. They kept him out too long, I think, before they made a pit stop.
They did that with a lot of people.
They did. It was a really odd strategy race, this one.
People just couldn't get it right. And then I think it was because they were either predicting no rain or light rain. But then when it did rain, it actually was the heaviest rain you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah. Oh, a fun little thing they kept saying this weekend about the rain, right? So the wet tyres... Mm-hmm. So as fast as the cars go with the tyres on, they said that the amount of water that those wet tyres dispel could fill a bath in 1 second.
Oh god.
They said that a few times this weekend and I've not stopped thinking about it. Because like they kept making jokes like, oh, your bath takes 10 minutes to fill up. Mine takes 1 second.
That is crazy. But I love when they have little facts like that.
Same, I love it. I write down all the silly little ones.
I never heard that one. I'm sad. Oh, well, I'm glad I know now.
Yeah. I thought that was such a crazy amount of water, though.
It is insane.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Zhou, his race ended in lap 61. Turn 1, lap 61. That crucial turn 1.
Heartbreak.
That was getting everyone.
He went right into the barrier.
It was a big crash.
It was a big one.
It made me feel quite sick, actually. Cause
it did remind me a little of Silverstone.
He went skirting into that.
Yep, he did go really fast.
But he's okay.
He is, which is good. Yeah.
Speaking of which, and actually I'm going to go back to Oscar's crash in FP2.
Yeah.
And Daniel. So, obviously, when your driver crashes, the first thing you hear any team ask on the radio, are you okay?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, obviously.
They asked Zhou that.
Human life in there.
They asked Daniel that. Did McLaren say that to Oscar? No.
McLaren don't say that to anybody, though.
Is the car okay?
They always say that.
Like, what do you mean? Surely the human life is the priority.
Right?
Like,
but that's McLaren's thing. That's what they say every time. They don't care. They want the car more than they want the driver.
It's the two teams that are worse for that are McLaren and Haas.
Yeah.
Don't know why I counted like that. Yeah, bro.
Sadu.
I'm doing a sort of, if you're not watching the podcast, I'm doing a sort of surfer bro Sadu sign.
Nice.
Cool, man. Yeah. But yeah, McLaren and Haas are so bad for not asking their driver first.
Terrible.
If they're okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, that just came into my head and I wanted to say that because that annoyed me.
Very much.
But yeah,
so.
Zhou was okay, bless him. Mm-hmm. It was disappointing. But, you know.
Yeah.
It was good to see that he had that potential to be up there.
Yeah, because that was lap 64, right?
Yeah, but I don't know where he was at that point. It was 61 he crashed.
Oh, 61? I thought it was 64.
I got 61 written.
Oh. No, it was 64 because they red flagged it at 65.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
because it was yellows initially and then quickly went to red.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay.
Yeah.
Because Yuki also went off at that point.
The rain was really heavy at this point.
Yeah, it
started coming down even more.
Heavens opened at the start of the race and then it cleared up and everyone went back onto slicks.
Yeah.
And then the heavens opened once again.
Lap 64 was insane.
Everyone went onto inters, but the inters were struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And actually the only person on wets was Esteban. If Joe hadn't had his crash, Esteban, we could have seen him on the podium.
Oh, for sure. He would have flown up there.
I mean, there's a lot of speculating you could have done if such things hadn't happened.
Definitely.
But yeah, in all the sort of strategies kind of went out the window.
For sure.
Because it was chaos. There's two teams that I kind of highlighted in all of this. Mercedes, notably, possibly had the worst strategy issues. Yeah. They really took that baton from Ferrari and went, no, it's our turn this week.
They did.
So they left George out too long at the start when everyone boxed for inters.
Yeah.
They told him to stay out and to just push through it because it was going to clear up, and
it started raining heavier.
So P3 to... Oh, actually, it was P18 at the start, apparently.
Oh, nice.
Minutes, I thought it was P16, but it was P18.
Nice.
But when it dried up, he put on hards and put in a great recovery.
Yep.
As he's good at. He's a really, really good...
He's good at recovery.
Recovery driver. But it was a shame, because even in lap 58, he almost lost the car and did a really great save. Mm-hmm. So it was a shame to see him do so poorly in the end.
Do you know who didn't have a good save? Perez.
Oh, yeah.
Start of lap 64. This is the one that kicked everything off. He had a really big spin and lost his second place. He was all the way down. But then they gave him his place back. They put him in third at the restart.
Because that's the rules.
I hate the rules.
Because they went back to the last...
Yeah, the last lap.
Last order, yep.
Terrible.
But he got a penalty anyway.
He did,
But I have a whole Red Bull section too, so I got a lot to say about them.
Yes.
And then George had a poor weekend. Lewis actually had a strong finish, considering he had a poor qualifying and missed out on getting into Q3.
Mm-hmm.
To finish, what was he, 6th today?
Yeah.
But he made it up. So at least they had a stronger weekend from Lewis, and that was all right. And then, Red Bull. This is our Red Bull Conspiracy Club. It's back for another week.
It is.
Right? So after quali, I've got a quote from Toto Wolff.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel that this sums it up better than I ever could. Oh my god, just got to get back into my Instagram now. Toto Wolff said about the situation on qualifying. So there was a 1.3 second gap in qualifying between Checo and Max. Obviously Checo behind Max, if you couldn't guess that. And Toto said, "Odd, bizarre. Checo is not an idiot, so I cannot comprehend that we've seen that. Max has destroyed every single teammate that was with him." And I will accept that Max is a very talented driver.
He is.
And in a very fast car, but Checo's also very good at what he does and in a very fast car.
Yeah.
And Toto is right. It is a bit suspicious.
Very suspicious.
And to add to that, in this race, so the situation, they pitted Max first. Checo was Checo was leading the race.
Yep.
And they pitted Max first to change from inters to slicks again.
Yeah.
Which allowed him to then undercut Checo when Checo was pitted. And so it was looked into, and it was the team that made the decision, not Max.
Yeah.
And they tried to claim that the reason they did it was because if they hadn't, Checo would have been P1 and Max would have been P4. Not even the commentary box believed this.
Yeah.
Everyone went, absolutely not. Yeah. That is not what's happened.
Yeah.
I get that this was a record for Max, 9 consecutive wins. That's equal to Seb now.
Yeah.
And I get that it's Max's home race and this was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But give Checo a bloody chance.
Right. They've already taken everything from him.
I feel so gutted for him.
I know, it's really sad.
He wasn't given a better chance. And I know he got his penalty in the end. He got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Yeah.
But it was a shame that they did that. I think that's quite frustrating. And at this point, why would... I know that everyone's like, oh, they're going to replace Checo. I hope Checo goes elsewhere.
Yeah, same. I hope he gets
what he
a new
deserves.
team with a good seat.
But after this, why would anyone choose to go to Red Bull?
Yeah.
Genuinely, why would you choose to go to Red Bull?
I know.
Because not only are you going to be second to Max, which is fair enough if he's the better driver, but if you're actually going to be treated like that, why would anyone...
I know.
So the only person that's going to replace Checo at this point is Daniel, because he's the only person who actually wants to be
yeah, you're right.
in that seat, clearly. Because
you're right.
Why would anyone else do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was happy that Max won in the end. But that restart...
Do you know what? Congratulations to Max, because he has got his 9 in a row. And that is a very big deal.
At his home race.
He's now one of 3 drivers who have ever done that. So it's a very good thing for him.
But now it's time for someone else to win.
Yeah.
And I was cheering... At that restart after the red flag, I was really cheering for Fernando. Even though I did say that I would happily see Max win. I was like, oh my God, Fernando's going to get it. Fernando's not won since 2013.
I was really, really
Fernando's
excited.
time.
Do you know what? I'm also very happy for Pierre.
Yeah, what a podium today.
And his radio messages are so cute when he does well, because
Passionate.
he just loves what he does.
Yeah, I know. Oh, it was a good moment. It was
very good.
It was a very good end to a very exciting race, I would say.
Yes, 100%.
I really enjoyed this weekend.
Me too.
For
I
all
thought
the
it was a
madness,
good race. I like Zandvoort as a track.
Yeah, and I didn't even feel too sad about Ferrari because I had a good time.
Yeah, same.
Oscar didn't.
It was still entertaining.
Oscar didn't, finish too high up, but he had an impressive drive.
Yeah.
Some great overtakes. I think all my options for overtake of the month, it's not really many options for this month.
Yeah.
As we are at the end of August. If Oscar doesn't get overtake of the month, I'll be good.
I know. I will be sad for him.
Because he had some beautiful wheel overtakes, and Yuki as well.
Mm-hmm.
Great race, great defending. But then, shafted by AlphaTauri, not boxing him early enough.
And on the subject of the race being great, who was your driver of the day?
Fernando.
Yeah, nice.
It was almost Oscar and it was almost Yuki. But I took my driver of the day really seriously.
Same.
And I weighed up my options. I said, no, it's Fernando. And I voted this during the red flags. This was before he even, secured that P2. I was like, it's Fernando.
I had to go for Yuki this week.
That's fair.
I had to. He was doing so well.
Did we see who the split was? It was Max, Fernando, and someone else.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember who the someone else was, though.
But Fernando won it, I think, by quite a lot. When I saw the split, he was on 20%.
Yeah, it was 20 when
Max
when
was
he
about
won.
14, so
yeah.
Well deserved for Fernando.
Very well deserved, I'm glad.
Yeah, what? How are we going to get better than that race?
It does get better than that.
I know. Monza. I'm very excited for Monza.
I'm very nervous for Monza.
Do you know what? My expectations for Ferrari my expectations for Charles are so low that I'm not that nervous about Monza.
I'm nervous because Carlos actually does do well in the race, and I worry for my guy. But I'm very excited for it.
I want to see McLaren come back strong again.
I think they will, because Monza's quite a good track for it.
And I think Oscar, I really am looking forward to this podium because I think it's cooking. I
think it's coming. I'm also excited for the Williams podium that's imminent.
Yeah. Come on, Albon.
I know. We love you, Albon.
Wow, I feel like there was a lot of information there, and what started out in my notes as very structured has become very unstructured.
A little bit chaotic.
But that kind of sums up how the weekend was.
It does. It's in theme.
Yeah, we've really reflected the mindset. I do feel a bit scrambled today, really.
No, same. I need like an early night.
Oh God, I'm knackered.
Yeah.
I ate so much food during that.
I was stress eating like mad.
So I ate, and I had a lovely fajita.
Oh,
I thought that would keep me going. I know.
Yeah.
And then I had an entire 8-pack of snowballs.
Quite right.
This is horrendous. I had 2 protein bars.
Oh, nice.
And two punnets of cherries.
2 punnets? That's it clipped off. Battery's flashing. That's alright.
So the camera's gone. Before we're so close to wrapping up.
Literally are just wrapping up.
If only I didn't go into that summary of my lovely diet today.
So we can just put a really funny video of us at the end of the video. That's fine.
I don't even know how I'm gonna edit that, and we're gonna have to take an alternate phone video.
Yeah,
I'm got really close to the mic all of a sudden.
ASMR.
ASMR.
That's really creepy. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it was. Maybe we should just go for a really calm ending.
Yeah, let's have a
You can definitely hear my stomach
day.
really upset after those 2 Pulitzer cherries.
For sure.
Oh my god, I don't like Jazz is really looking me in the eyes while she whispers into this microphone, and I don't like it.
So, but I'm really trying hard not to laugh.
It's really
and ruin the ASMR.
Wow, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to Gals on the Pit Wall.
I can't do it. Yeah, thanks for watching Gals on the Pit Wall. I can't keep this bit going.
No. Thanks for watching, guys.
Are we on Monza next weekend?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's a double header.
My whole concept of time is gone, really.
Yeah.
It's all been fried.
Definitely.
But yeah, Monza.
Very exciting. I need to get that shirt, though, on a real note, when they bring it out.
The Le Mans shirt. Yeah, we've got to keep an eye out for that. We spoke about this last week.
We did.
Maybe it'll make an appearance.
Fingers crossed.
Hopefully it wasn't just a...
Track. Oh, what if they only sell it at the track, though?
You
Fine, I'll go to Monza.
Oh no, we're going to have to go a wee last minute trip to Monza.
Whoops.
Whoopsie doopsies.
Never mind.
Oh well. Wow.
Well.
I just want to say, I would quite like people to let us know who their driver of the day was. Like
yes,
in general,
please.
after each race, but particularly today, because I think there's so many valid options that people could have voted for. Because I mean, it took me a while to figure it out.
Maybe we'll start putting a little comment box up on Instagram story after
we
a
poll.
race. Yeah.
We'll do our own driver of the day poll.
Yeah. Or maybe not a poll.
We could do a poll. We could do a
do
short.
you think?
I suppose we could do a comment box.
Because I feel like comment box, because other people might have a different driver.
We'll figure it out, and then maybe we'll make a nice little graph.
Yeah. And then we'll show you guys who the Gals on the Pit Wall driver of the day is with all of your votes.
We'll do something.
Yeah.
Because I want to know.
Same. I'm very curious.
But yeah, that was it this week.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Woohoo!
Bye.
Bye. Oh, nope.
Shit.
Hit.
There
Nice.
we go.